This is an oral history interview conducted for the Witness to War Serving a Nation project at Nauset Regional High School on Cape Cod, Massachusetts. For the sake of this interview, please state your name and community in which you now reside.
My name is Ed Kirker, and I live in the town of Harwich.
So, Mr. Kirker, how did you end up on Cape Cod?
Well, I used to vacation here at one time, and I got to like it so much that after a few years of vacationing down here, I moved down here.
What type of education did you receive?
High school education.
Did you have any siblings growing up?
I have 3 children.
But no siblings while you were growing up?
No.
Okay. What activities were you into as a kid?
Well, I played all kinds of sports. Football, basketball, baseball. I was pretty much an athlete at the time. And after that, I refereed basketball for many a year. So other than that, I try to keep pretty busy.
So what was it like growing up in South Boston?
Just to correct you there for a minute, it wasn't South Boston.
Oh.
It was Boston. Yeah, South Boston is a place of its own.
All right. So like, what was it like?
Well, back in my day, growing up, you didn't have as much as the kids have today. You know, we'd probably use a broom handle for a bat to hit a ball or something to that effect. We didn't have the good equipment that they have today.
All right. So how did you end up in the military? Were you drafted or did you enlist?
No, I enlisted.
All right.
Yeah, I enlisted. There was a draft going on at the time. So during the draft, if you were drafted, you went in the Army. So if I enlisted, I could pick the name of the service that I wanted to go in.
So why did you pick the Navy?
Well, it was told to me by my mother. Now, this may sound a little corny of it, but when I was being baptized, when they poured the water over my forehead and my head, the priest said, you know, someday he's going to be in the Navy. He didn't even cry when I poured the water on, the holy water. So that kind of stuck in my mind over the years.
So how old were you when you were enlisted?
I was 18.
18? So were there any specific experiences, or were there any friends or relatives that were in the military that made you want to go?
No, none that I can think of.
Okay. So how did you feel leaving home for the Navy?
Well, I didn't really feel anything. I just I can remember getting on a train, and then all the other recruits were there, and we shipped off to. I did my boot training at Sampson, New York. But I didn't really feel anything. I didn't feel sad or anything of that nature.
So what was your training like?
Well, there was a war going on at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we were given limited training. I forget exactly what it was now. Whether it was 6 weeks or 3 months or something of that nature. But it wasn't long. Yeah, we were in boot camp for a short time.
So was your job like? Did you say that you were on an aircraft carrier?
I was on an aircraft carrier.
So, like, what was your job on that aircraft carrier?
Well, my job was, I was in damage control, what they call damage controls. So, which means if a fire breaks out on the ship, something of that nature, the people that were in damage control with me, help put out the fire, things like that.
All right. So how did you get your position? Was it given to you, or were you able to choose, or was so?
What do you mean by position?
Like your like how did you get on damage control?
They placed me there.
Okay. So what was day-to-day life like?
Well, it was like a normal day. You get up, you went to work, you did your job, you had your regular meal times, and in the course of the day, of course, you naturally get tired if you were working as a civilian.
All right. Did you have any downtime during your time in the Navy?
Yeah, you would have breaks of that nature. Yeah, it wasn't bad. I didn't find it bad anyhow.
So when you hear the phrase World War II, what comes to mind?
Well, when I hear it today, it seems like many years ago, which it was. I figure I was 18 then, I'm now 91. So that's a long time.
So students like us have never experienced a war, so could you paint a picture of the war for us?
Well, the best thing I can tell you about the action of the war is, of course, I was on an aircraft carrier, and our planes and pilots had orders to do certain things, and we never knew where they were going because actually it was a secret between the instructors and the pilots of where they were going. So we never knew where they went. Our job was to take them where they were going so they could fly off the ship and come back to the ship when they did their job.
Yeah, so like where were you? Like,
Well, I was in the European theater. And we were in the Atlantic, the Mediterranean, and we stopped off at places like England, Naples, Italy, and basically we weren't on land a lot. We were mostly out on the ocean.
okay. What was your happiest moment during the war?
Well, I guess I was getting mail from home. When you get a letter from home, you sort of enjoyed reading it 4 or 5 times.
Was there any dark moment that you experienced during the war?
No, not really. Just everyday thing, do my job. I was told what to do, I did it, and that was about it.
So how often did you get to communicate with your family? Like you said that you got letters, but like,
Well,
how many times?
Well, I would write letters back
Mhm.
home, let them know how I was doing and things of that nature. And that was about the only communication we've had, was the mail service.
Okay. What friends did you have in the war?
Pardon?
Did you have any friends in the war that?
Well, everybody was a friend, you
Mhm.
know. they used the word buddy back in those days. Everyone was your buddy. But they all got along pretty well. Yeah.
Is there anyone that you're still in touch with, or?
Oh no. I don't know where any of the crew went. Of course, like I say, I'm 91 now, so I don't know how many is around anymore.
Right. So were you glad that you joined the military?
Yeah, kind of a way. You kind of thought you were doing your duty, your patriotic duty. As it turned out, everything went pretty good. But yeah, I never had any hard feelings with joining.
So you have medals here to show us. Can you explain the background to show?
I have 4 or 5 medals and campaign bars, but I imagine they have to do a lot with where our planes went and what they did when they got there, And if they received a campaign bar, ship's company also received a campaign bar and a medal.
So do you know like any of the missions that were?
No, I never knew where they went or anything of that nature. Nobody ever really talked about where they went. Even the pilots, would never tell you.
Mm-hmm. So, what was the most exciting thing that you did during the war?
Well, at one point, our radar, which is up on top of the ship, became loose, and we're underway now. We're in the ocean, and we're underway. And the captain asked me if I would go up and weld it and secure it, because I was in damage control. He didn't tell me to do it because we were underway and it was very dangerous. So I volunteered to go up and weld it and secure it till we get back into shore and have the regular people look at it. But I did a good job, and it held, So the captain was very happy with that. And then, when the war got over, we were supposed to go to the Pacific now to fight the Japanese. And we, from what I understand, is we had orders to go there, and for some reason, the orders changed. And now, like I said before, the war in Europe was over. So they didn't need the soldiers over there to do any more fighting. So our orders came in that we were to go back to Italy, Naples, Italy, and take soldiers back to the States. So that's what we did.
So what were were there any stories that you heard from the soldiers that were interesting, or?
No, never. They got on the ship, they got off the ship, and that's the last we seen them or heard from them.
If you were to describe your experience in the war in 3 words, what would it be?
What was that again?
So if you were to describe your experience in 3 words, what would you?
Well, I think I could really say it made me a stronger person, and a better person. It gave me good training. It made me respect the country more because I've been getting more mature now, being in the service. I'm not a little boy anymore. So I'd say that's about all I could say about in that respect.
Describe your most emotional moment in the war.
Well, we had in taking the soldiers back from Italy. We hit a storm in the Azores, and the storm was so terrific that the waves were coming over our flight deck. Now, carrier is a big ship, and for a wave to come over a flight deck, it's kind of scary. So, when the waves started to hit the ship, we had rolling doors, these big rolling doors, and it sort of crashed them in and things of that nature. So again, the captain asked me, could I secure them and weld them and things of that nature. Well, I worked around the clock, trying to shore these doors up so the water wouldn't come in. And I guess the captain was very thankful in that respect, because one day the guys were coming back to their compartment, and they said, "Hey, the list is up for people that are getting assignments and new ratings." So I went and I looked at the list, and lo and behold, there's my name. I jumped from a second-class seaman to a third-class petty officer. So I kind of contribute that to my work ethics that I did, you know, and where the captain never told me I had to do it because it was dangerous. I was kind of happy that I did it. Of course, being young, you do a lot of things that you don't even think twice about.
What were the conditions like on the aircraft carrier?
Well, it was like a small city. There was a couple of thousand sailors. Everybody had a job to do. You know, it was like being in a small city. It's the only way I can explain it. Mm-hmm. The ship was huge.
What was the name of the ship?
USS Lake Champlain, CV-39.
So, did you have any, like, near-death experiences during the war, or?
No, myself personally, no. Not that I could think of.
So how did you feel coming back from the war?
Yeah, I was happy to get home. You know, we did our job, and you know, the war was over. Both wars were over, and so it was nice getting back to civilian life.
So what was the first thing that you did? Do you remember what was the first thing you did?
Oh God, I really don't know. Probably get some sleep. No, I was kind of an everyday type of guy. You do what you have to do, and that's it.
Was it difficult adjusting to regular life, or was it difficult going back to becoming a citizen, or?
No, not really. No, not for me. It wasn't anyhow. I imagine it did for a lot of servicemen and women that probably sustained injuries during the war. They probably had a hard time. But no, I didn't. I didn't find it difficult.
So how much sleep did you get in the war?
Regular normal sleep. Go to bed, lights out at a certain time, and you're up early in the morning. So it's a full day.
Did you receive any injuries during the war, or?
No, nothing to speak of.
So did you ever consider or feel an obligation to go back in the military?
You mean now?
Afterwards? Afterwards.
No, not really. No. It was peacetime for a long time, and then of course you had these other wars came along, Korea and things of that nature. But no, I never wished that I was back in.
So if you could go back in time, would you do anything differently?
No, not really. I'm pretty satisfied with my life, the way it turned out.
Did your attitude towards the war change at all?
No, not really.
No.
I was glad it was over because people were getting killed and things of that nature. Civilians were getting killed, and I mean, to me, I have a saying that it takes one man to start a war, and some wars start for some stupid thing. Somebody doesn't agree with something, they want to start a war.
So how did you feel about other wars afterwards?
Well, I felt sorry for the people that were going to different wars. To me, they weren't necessary. Like I say, it only takes one man to start a war. That turned out to be the truth.
So, what job or jobs did you have during your after military?
Well, I worked for Park and Recreations in Boston, and like I say, I refereed basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I kept pretty busy.
And you work, you volunteer at Cape Cod Tech now.
Yes, I do.
So, what is that like? What do you do here?
Well, to me, the teachers, they do a fine job here. And the students are basically good students. I enjoy coming here every day. Not every day. I used to come every day, but now I'm down to 3 days a week. But I enjoy coming here and helping out the best I can.
If you have seen any of the memorials for various wars, do you think they accurately represent each war, you having been in the war yourself?
No, not really. It's good that they put these memorial things up for the people that are in wars now. They should get all the credit they can. People want to give them, or the government wants to give them. But I was kind of happy the way things turned out for me personally. But I do feel sorry for those people that are in harm's way today.
So, what advice do you have to young people joining the military?
Well, I have another saying. You keep your eyes and ears open, your mouth shut most of the time, and do what you're told, and you'll enjoy it much better, and you'll come home pretty safe.
So if you hadn't joined the military, how might your life be different today?
Oh, I have no idea. That would be foresight. God knows you could fall off a curbstone and get killed, more so than being in the military. I think it made me a better person, tell you the truth. And I congratulate these young people that are in the military today. I have great respect for them.
Looking back, what specific experience comes to mind from the war?
What experience? Well, I could take orders and told what to do, and without hem and hawing about it, I just do what I'm told, and that's it. I think it made me a better person.
Do you have any grandkids, or like you said that you have kids? So what's your family life like? Do you have grandkids?
Oh, I have a wonderful family. Yeah. I have one that's a retired school teacher, a retired nurse, and my youngest boy works for the post office. So they're all pretty hard-working people, or they were when they were working. But I'm very proud of them.
All right. Did any of your kids consider joining the military?
Not that I know of. Oh.
Okay. How would you feel if your kids decided to join the military?
How would I feel if they joined? Well, I'd feel proud. You know, I'd wish them luck. Stay out of harm's way. But I would be very proud of them.
So is there anything else that you would like to add? Anything about your post-military life?
Not that I recall. Like I say, it made me a better person, and helped me to get through life pretty good.
Do you have one parting message or advice for anyone?
Well, if you, like I say, back in my day there was tons of sayings, and I still go with the sayings of, keep your eyes and ears open, keep your mouth shut most of the time, have good work ethics, and there's always somebody watching you when you're working, whether it be a boss or somebody of that nature that can make life easier for you.
Thank you so much for this interview and for your service.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you